ready for a trip? If your response was real bad, then this episode is for you. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton, neuropsychologist, published author, and founder of Mod Ambition. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe to this channel. I post every week, and also it would help me out a lot if you hit that like button. So whether you are having a hot girl summer or a hot mom summer like myself, this episode is going to help you travel like a pro and enjoy the abundance that comes with the blessing of being able to travel in the first place. Because as you all know, outside is back open and the girls are ready to travel. You know that planner in the group when you go on a girls trip? That's me, yeah. So I remember going on a large group trip actually to Mexico for my 30th birthday with girls and guys. And I had that trip planned down to a T. Yes, I'm sure some people rolled their eyes when they received my type A emails, polling them for events or sending itinerary drafts. But trust me, once everybody got there, they were thanking me and having a good old time because of my good little planning skills. So I will say that I am a natural planner. However, now that I'm a mom, traveling is a whole different beast. I got my feet wet by traveling with Layla for road trips to Aspen and Vail during the pandemic, but it wasn't until we flew to Texas with both my toddlers that I decided I needed to brush up on my travel planning skills. During the trip, I found myself not really having some of the core essentials that I needed, like entertainment for them while we're there. And on the way back from Texas, my kids had an utter meltdown, and even myself was crying by the time we got off this plane because it just went chaotic. And I felt like if I would have planned just a little bit better, it would have went better. So that's when I took a deep dive into the internet, diving into research about mom travel hacks and travel planning tips in general and best traveling products. I've been doing a lot more, adding on to my planner skills, and we're going to France soon. I feel so much more better prepared to make it a beautiful trip and stress-free as possible. Okay, so imagine arriving to your destination stress-free with your summer braids or your beach waves. Imagine enjoying your trip and making the most of your time there. Imagine creating memories that make you cry tears of joy and not sadness. And I hope that's what these tips are in this episode are going to help you do. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to use the Mod Ambition pillars and help us kind of come up with a systemized kind of way to plan for travel and to make it the most enjoyable space that you can. I also have a free summer travel guide that you can download that can help you with packing and just getting organized for your trip. If you want to just download that for free, it will be in the description. And just quickly, before we jump into these tips, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by my new company, Mod Ambition. I am launching the Mod Ambition Planner on July 12th. If you want to get on the wait list or be sure to be notified when we do launch, you can join the list there's a link in the description below where you can sign up to be on the list. And you can also view pictures of the planner. I have one right here. It's just a modern planner that has pretty much everything you're going to need to plan to reach your goals and have it all really without overwhelm. So check that out and let's jump into these tips. So the first thing we're going to do is use the Mod Ambition pillars to help us travel like a pro. The first Mod Ambition pillar is plan, okay? Under this pillar, you want to think about some of these things. So the first thing is, what's most important to you about this trip? Decide what is your intention for the trip if you want to travel for a pro. How do you want to feel? Do you want to be comfortable? Do you want to relax on this trip? Is this your trip to create adventure memories? What's your intention? What do you want to get out of this trip? Do you want to spend more time with your family? And you also want to be intentional about how you want to travel. Is it important for you to pack light? Is it important for you to have everything that you can need, even if you don't need it? Like, decide what you want the trip to be, but then also decide how you want it to be, how you want to get there. Kind of thinking about the destination, but also like the in and outs of how you would like it to flow as you're there. Then when it comes to what you want to do, I want you to prioritize according to your intention and then organize it for days that make the most sense and give you the most flow. So you might want to, like I said, create this trip for adventure and you want to have a lot of memories of trying new things. So that's your intention. So you want to prioritize that. What obviously when you're planning what you're going to do each day, that sounds really intuitive, but sometimes just kind of naming those things and calling it out helps us kind of implement them easier. So then when you're prioritizing that, you know you're going to have maybe more days that you have some scheduled things to do, so you can make sure that you'll be able to do those adventures and have everything that you need, and then have some maybe less relaxing days. And then kind of thinking about how much time you have, how much money you have, and what can you prioritize and how can you organize in a way that feels like a vacation, that feels like it's gonna flow. So I like to think about that when I'm planning as well. When you're planning for your trip, also include buffers for downtime. You want to make sure that you're not scheduling yourself so much that you're just feeling like you're go, go, go. You're not really having time to relax and unwind. So maybe just like one thing a day or every other day as far as planned activities, and then giving yourself that space and that buffer to let things unfold as well, and to really just enjoy yourself more organically. And then also when it comes to planning, it's helpful if you can be flexible, and resourceful. So you're going to have this plan, but keep in mind, even as you're planning, to be flexible and to know that not everything goes according to a plan, and be resourceful in the fact that when things don't go according to plan, just kind of think to yourself, how can I still make this the best that it can be? How can I be resourceful with what I do have? Like, even if you forgot something, what can I do to make this work? So you allow yourself to have that more flexibility, and in turn, more happiness on your trip. Like I said, I do have a free summer travel packing guide for you guys, which is linked in the description below. And it's also helpful when you're using that packing guide to fully envision your trip in your mind. And this is going to help you brainstorm items that you might not think of that you actually need, just because you've kind of already envisioned it in your mind and see yourself walking through this. You have like this optimal ideal of what it's going to be like. And then you can also think about things you need to add to your packing list as well. Again, that guide is in the description and it's completely free. And then just as a last kind of travel hack for the moms out there traveling, when it comes to planning, I want you to plan travel times that match your children's schedules. So like I said, we had a breakdown on the way back from Texas. The way there was perfectly fine. It was when the kids woke up and they were refreshed and things just went smoothly. Chris slept in his car seat. We had an extra seat on the way. That might be something to get for your children, because they were both lap kids at the time, so we didn't have to pay for them. But on the way there, it happened that we got a free seat, whereas on the way back, we did not have that. So they were both in our laps and we were on different aisles. And then the timing was a time that was stretching their bedtime on the way back. I was thinking that they would fall asleep, but because it was kind of right when they needed to go to sleep, they were already kind of tired at that time, like overtired, and couldn't fall asleep because obviously they were in a plane and we weren't really prepared for that. So if you can plan travel times that match your children's schedule, and that's a good one even as an adult, if you know there are better times for you where you feel more refreshed, or you feel like you maybe want to do a red eye if you're going internationally, kind of think about what's gonna, not only the best price, which I know is important, but also kind of the best times. Okay, so let's move on to my second mod ambition pillar, which is prepare and apply it to travel. And this is the part where you're actually going to be doing things to prepare for your trip, like packing. So what can you do before your trip that you're going to be thankful for later? What can you do in advance? So let's just jump into some of these ways that you can prepare for your trip that'll make your trip much more enjoyable. The first thing I want to talk about are packing cubes are your friend, especially clear ones. I know there's some debate out there about packing cubes if they actually save space. And I think that it's very comparable to techniques without using the packing cubes. But what I like about the packing cubes is that it organizes everything so you can find things easily, which is so important. It's so nice to have when you're traveling, to be able to find things easily. So especially that's why I like the clear one. So packing cubes are your friend when it comes to preparing and actually packing your bag. When it comes to preparing, you could also think about if you're going on a long trip, like when we go to France, it's going to be 3 weeks that we're going to be there. And I'm kind of preparing ahead, thinking about what can I have delivered there that I don't have to pack, and what can I buy there, kind of thinking about the items beforehand that I don't necessarily have to pack, that I can either get delivered there or pick up there. You want to prepare also in a way that helps you come home from your trip with ease. So we think a lot about preparation for the trip, but we can also think about coming home so that you have like a good ending to your trip. It's not like you come home and then you're automatically stressed out about getting back into the day-to-day of life, because you got to wash clothes, you got to clean your house, you got to do all these things to get back in the groove of life. Think about what you can do before your trip to help you get back in ease with your day-to-day more gracefully. So I like to clean my house before we go, so everything is cleaned and all the laundry outside of what we're taking, well, obviously what we're taking is clean too, but all other laundry that's staying home is clean. So when I do come home, I only have to do the laundry from the trip. And when I'm at my trip, I like to, on that last day, if I have access to a washing machine, wash my clothes, especially if you're an Airbnb, come home with clean clothes, so that way you only have to unpack. Or like the last time we went to France, which was a while ago because of COVID, we found a laundromat and we just washed our clothes there. So just taking a moment to do those kind of little things like cleaning beforehand, or anything you can do to make easing back into life just a little bit easier. Another preparation tip is to create bags for different activities when you're packing, like a beach bag, so you can put all the things that you're gonna be taking to the beach or to the pool when you get there, like your kids' sunscreen or swim shoes or pool toys, all in kind of one bag, or a hiking bag that kind of has like things you could just grab and go if you want to go hiking. Kind of creating those different categories when you're packing can also be something very useful to help you prepare for your trip. Okay, another thing for the moms out there to help you prepare, when we went to Texas on our flight, we had a baby carrier for Christian, and I think we just carried Layla, which is like when you're running to your flight, or just even if things are going smoothly in the airport, it's nice to have your toddler strapped down instead of like trying to drag them along or carry them. They get really heavy. So this trip we invested in a travel stroller, which is essentially a stroller that folds up and can be a carry-on, and we're gonna still wear Chris because he can still fit in the baby carrier. That way we have them both strapped down and our hands free if we need to be. And then also I like that it's a carry-on because we do have a connecting flight in Germany before we go to France. And so that way we don't have to wait at the gate to get our stroller, especially if things are tight between our connecting flight and our new flight. Yeah, I think you guys understand what I'm saying. We just have the stroller there with us. It's not like we have to wait baggage claim or wait at the gate to get our stuff. We can just go to our next gate and jump on our merry way. So look into preparing by getting a travel stroller. You can also do things like reserving things ahead of time for your trip, kind of thinking about things that would help you if you just kind of took care of it beforehand. Like if you want to go to a fancy restaurant, sometimes getting those reservations, you can't just get them on the spot. So a little bit of preparation and doing that beforehand can help. Other ideas are reserving your car seat for your rental car, or if you want to get preferred seating on your airline, doing whatever you can in those sense beforehand to reserve things. And then the last preparation tip I have for you is to have a space in your home where you store all the things that you're preparing for your trip. I know a lot of us like to shop before our trips and buy things, especially just for our vacation. Like for the kids, I bought them wireless headphones and some toys for the airplane, or you might have some special outfits that you're saving just for your vacation. And it's helpful just to keep things organized as you're starting to buy things before your trip. Just put it in one spot of your house. That way when it's time to pack, you can just go to that one spot and add on to it and start packing from there instead of searching all over your house for the things that you bought for your trip. So the third mod ambition pillar is to execute, and specifically execute productively. So these are the things that you're actually going to do in the midst of your travel to help you have the most optimal time there and execute in a way that feels efficient and resourceful. So the first tip under this pillar of execution is to stick to your kids' routines. I talked about that a little bit when buying your plane tickets, but also doing things like when you're on the flight, having their sleep suit or whatever it is they use to go to sleep, their teddy bear, I'm bringing my kids little hippo sounds, the same books that we read at bedtime, anything that you can do, having a sound machine there to help them to kind of stick to their routines, stick to their nap times when they get there. It's going to make, because kids love routines, it's going to make life a little bit more smooth. Have more snacks than you think you need. This is another one for the moms. And even if you're not a mom, for yourself, to just not getting hangry while traveling can solve a lot. Probably can prevent some arguments with your spouse, and it could, for your kids for sure. You can never have enough snacks. I mean, those little monsters, they love snacks, and having their favorite snacks and the ones they like, especially when you're traveling, is always a good idea, because you never know if where you're going is going to have, especially if you're flying internationally, it's going to have the stuff that your kids like. So that's just a good little execution tip. And then while you're there, focus on having fun and creating memories and not creating a perfect trip. Focus on how can you create as many positive memories as possible, how can you be present as possible, and how can you have fun and allow yourself to not have to live up to this expectation of a perfect trip. And the last thing I'm going to say under execute is to set up shop when you get there and keep things organized. Okay, so keeping things neat and organized is going to help you feel more relaxed and enjoy your vacation. That's another way the packing cubes come in handy, because you just pull out the cubes, put them in the drawer. You don't have to worry that much when it comes to unpacking. But if you can kind of set up shop and not have things messy and all over the place. Have you ever been on a trip with either yourself or someone else and things are just kind of everywhere, and it just doesn't feel relaxing when you come back to your brick hotel room or bedroom if you're like in an Airbnb. So I have found the more you can kind of stay on top of things when it comes to keeping things organized, the easier you find things, but also you're not overstimulated, and it helps you relax more when you're on your trip. So those are my tips for traveling like a pro. Don't forget to grab your free travel packing guide. It's linked below. And also, if you want to sign up for that mod ambition planner that we will be releasing very, very soon, that is also linked below. And let me know in the comments if you have any travel tips that I didn't mention in this episode. I would love to end this episode by offering an intention for you this week or this summer. May your next vacation be full of memories that light up your soul. If you like this episode, please follow the podcast or subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until next time, namaste.